Welcome to the Power of the Palate National Virtual Cocktail Competition presented by Black Restaurant Week in partnership with Maker's Mark. Thank you everyone for joining us for this Make Your Mark Monday happy hour. I'm Warren Luckett, founder of Black Restaurant Week, and today we'll watch the 4 top bartenders battle live from the South region. The cities include Atlanta, Charlotte, Miami, and New Orleans. We will advance the 2 best bartenders. One will be selected from our special judges panel, and the other by the people's choice, which is your vote. Those 2 bartenders will then advance to the next round of the national bracket competition for a chance to win $5K from Black Restaurant Week.
Today, each contestant will have up to 5 minutes to perform a live demonstration of their cocktail. After the bartenders have performed their cocktail demonstration, the judges will ask them questions to get to know them better and discover the inspiration behind the recipe. Each contestant will be judged on the following: name and inspiration, creativity, palate, drink presentation, style and personality. Today's special judges include Harold Brinkley, the owner of the James Room, a beautiful cocktail bar in Atlanta, Georgia. Chef Robert Butts is an executive chef at a Twisted Soul Cookhouse and Pours. And Ryan Meegan, a Maker's Mark diplomat for Tennessee and Georgia. Now here's how today's competition will work. Our top 4 bartenders are joining us on Zoom today, where they will each make their signature cocktail. Our judges are going to taste an exact replica of that cocktail right here at the James Room. They'll be made by our resident bartender, Will. After tasting the cocktail, the judges will interview the contestant, offer feedback about the recipe and presentation, and finally assign each bartender a score. So let's get started.
Our first contestant is Tracy Johnson from Atlanta.
Hello, party people. My name is Tracy Johnson. I'm coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, out of 12 Cocktail Bar, and I'm presenting my cocktail, Lemon Pepper Wet. So the aim of this round was to create a drink that embodies our city. So that's what I aim to do. So this is a play on a whiskey sour using our Maker's Mark. We're going to start out using 2 ounces of fresh squeezed lemon juice. 1 ounce of French squeezed lemon juice, 1 ounce of black peppercorn infused simple syrup, 4 dashes of lemon bitters, 5 drops of sesame oil, 1/4 ounce of yellow chartreuse, and last but not least, 2 ounces of Maker's Mark. Now, when you're shaking a cocktail, always make sure that you fill your ice up in your shaker tin to the very top so you get a nice even dilution every time. There's no guesswork. Give that a nice shake for about 10 seconds. And even though I've tasted this cocktail a million times, I'm going to taste it one more time. Additionally, we'll be expressing a lemon peel and using another for our garnish. And using some fresh cracked black pepper. And that's our lemon pepper wet. Cheers.
Hey Teresa.
Hi.
Ryan with Maker's Mark.
How y'all doing?
We are great. Will you talk to us about your experience in the business and just tell us more about yourself and what inspired this cocktail exactly?
I'm a New York native, actually, so I'm really honored to be representing the city of Atlanta. So growing up, I experienced wings from mostly American Deli, but of course there are a bunch of other wing spots, and that kind of shaped my Atlanta experience. So when I moved back here a year ago, nothing had really changed about it except for it being more popular. So lemon pepper wings are kind of our connection to our culture and our influence all over the U.S.
Nice.
I'm very excited to taste this cocktail.
No,
ever since I heard the name of it.
I gotta say something. You know, as an Atlanta native, I heard the name of the drink and automatically I'm like, what? So like, I know you said the inspiration, where the drink came from and everything, but you also said you put some, did you say sesame oil in it? Was it sesame oil?
Sesame oil.
Now, where that little trick come from?
So I don't eat meat, and a lot of times when making vegetarian and or vegan meals, you find yourself trying to give it a little extra oomph. So the sesame is gonna kind of be the chicken in the lemon pepper wet. It's gonna give it a little bit of depth and a little extra flavor, complement the notes of wood and caramel in the Maker's Mark.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To Tracy
Tracy.
and the lemon pepper
And the
wet.
lemon pepper wet. There you go.
Definitely lemon pepper wet.
Thank you.
She really did hit the home of the note though. Like, you can taste everything. It tastes like I'm eating the wing.
Yeah.
It does taste like I'm eating the wing.
Okay, so apparently there's controversy with the lemon pepper wet. Some people view lemon pepper wet as being lemon pepper wings with the sprinkles with extra lemon pepper butter sauce. But a lot of the old school Atlanta natives are gonna say it's fried wings with the lemon pepper sprinkles dipped in hot sauce. So with this, I was trying to take the path of least resistance. As much as I love spicy food, not everybody is open to it. So I felt like this would be a little bit more palatable.
It's a good cocktail. So what food would you pair with this that aren't lemon pepper chicken wings?
Honestly, I'd probably go with like an Asian flavor. The citrus, the wood, the pepper, the sesame. Go somewhere with Asian food.
Maybe even Thai, like a lemongrass soup, maybe.
Yeah. Tell me what butter notes.
All right, thank you, Tracy. We appreciate you.
Our next bartender is from Miami. Say hello to Jay Pink.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jay Pink, representing Miami. So today, the cocktail that I'm creating for you is the No Tan Lines. So we're gonna start with 1.5 ounces of Maker's Mark. You're going to add 3/4 ounce of Italicus Bergamotto liqueur and 1/4 ounce of raspberry liqueur. I'll be using locally sourced honey, 1/2 ounce as a sweetener. And the citrus used is yuzu, 1/2 ounce. You're gonna top with ice. You're going to give it a quick short shake, no more than 3 seconds. Drain into your tulip glass. Then you're going to top with cold tonic, ice cold tonic. You're gonna do about just over 1/2 glass. Then you're going to top with ice. The garnishes used is a dehydrated lemon wheel, which you will place on top, and some sage for aromatics. Place your straw right behind the sage and serve.
You tell us about your background in the business and your inspiration for the drink.
Okay, well, I'll start with me. I have been in the industry since 2005. Ever since then, anything that I can learn to push myself forward, I take a chance on it. The inspiration for this is because they wanted to rep my city, and most of my city is highly international because I spent a lot of time on South Beach, Fort Lauderdale Beach. So hence the name No Tan Lines, because nobody wants to leave the beach for tan lines. But I created it for the reason that I had a lot of friends that didn't like bourbon mixed in cocktails, but we like to go to the beach and we would do shots all day long. So it's like, why not create something that is perfectly to quench your thirst, but still give you the bourbon taste while you're at the beach, maybe a barbecue with some friends at the patio, just a nightcap where you're hanging out with your girlfriend.
Jay, I mean, the drink looks amazing, man. It looks beautiful. But now, where'd the idea come with the sage come and play?
It was to help with the citrus notes that are in the bergamotto and the yuzu, adding the sage and like doing this small slap that opens up the oils and brings out the aromatics of that helps with the taste while you're drinking.
We're about to try your cocktail, so let's do that first.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers to you. Let me ask you a question. What would you say are the more dominant spirits in the Miami market?
Well, it always starts with vodka. However, there are a lot of bars down here now experimenting and pushing mezcal because Miami is a very tequila-heavy, club-driven, tequila-heavy market.
So that was the setup question, because I knew the answer.
Yeah.
When you were told that you needed to make a whiskey-based cocktail, what was your thought process for making something that still captured your essence and the objective, but was still true to Miami, considering that Miami isn't a heavy whiskey city?
I was actually excited. I personally am a bourbon rum drinker. Like, I've grown out of the tequila shots life. So I'm the guy who will go to the bar and everyone's doing shots of tequila. I'll do bourbon on the rocks. And I was like, oh, if I can make up something like I can get this sold at a table while we still buy a bottle, but 4 people buy these. I was like, that's a win in my eyes.
What would you pair this with food-wise?
I would do this with a grilled chicken, like a lunch grilled chicken breast sandwich or something like that. However, you could also do for dinner, it's really good with sushi because I've tried it with sushi. So yeah.
One last question, man. What bar do you work at?
I am currently in Fort Lauderdale at Sparrow Rooftop. It's downtown Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, great view, beautiful food, amazing cocktails. Come see me outside. We'll overlook the city.
Okay,
All
we're
right,
coming.
excellent. Thank you, man.
Moving on to our next contestant. From Charlotte, everyone say hello to Everett Clark.
My name is Everett Clark, and I'm representing Charlotte, North Carolina. The name of my cocktail is called The Fruits of Our Labor. It's a play on a Kentucky mule. So the first thing that we're gonna do is start with a mule mug that has a capacity of at least 14 ounces. Then we're gonna take 3 to 4 lime slices or half a lime quartered. Then we're gonna muddle it. Start releasing all the juices and oils. Next, we're gonna ice up. Go ahead and fill your mug with ice. Then we're gonna add 1.5 ounces of what I call West African inspired shrub. This shrub has a lot of indigeneity. It's got blood oranges, pineapples, a lot of tropical spices like juniper berry, clove, allspice, and my secret ingredient, red onions. Next, we're gonna add 2 ounces of Maker's Mark Original Bourbon. And then top it with 2.5 ounces of Unknown Brewing Company's ginger soda. This is a local soda here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I chose it for 2 reasons. First, for its locality, of course, and secondly, for its spice level. Give it a couple good stirs to incorporate your flavors. And then float 3 to 4 dashes of classic Angostura bitters on top. Lastly, we're gonna garnish with a sprig of mint. And that is the fruits of our labor.
Hi, I'm Harold, owner of the James Room. What's the inspiration behind your cocktail, Fruit of Our Labor?
When I was researching Charlotte history, it was sort of the same story over and over again. Like, when we look into what is Southern hospitality and cuisine, it is Black history. It is Black craftsmanship. So I wanted to create a recipe that I felt our ancestors would appreciate. So, like I said, the shrub has blood oranges, it has Scotch bonnet peppers, it has pineapples, it has tropical spices. Not to mention Angostura bitters, fun fact, are originally from Trinidad.
Got it, man. Thank you. We're gonna
Cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
cheers to you.
Yeah,
Everett, how you doing today?
really good. How are you?
I'm good. So question, one thing you brought, an ingredient you brought is something I've never really seen at a bar, is the red onion. With red onion being so overpowering, what are the kind of ways you toned it down a little bit to make it good in the cocktail?
The way that I was able to kind of like take such an intense ingredient was I only used, I want to say just like a pinch of red onion, maybe like a half a cup of raw red onion. So it's still like maintained kind of like that fruity vegetal side of it. And I added it to my shrub as it cooled down. So I removed it from heat and let it sit with it for about like 5 or 10 minutes and then strained it off. So you're just getting like a touch of it, you know what I mean? It's not actually cooking in there.
I want to applaud your creativity and your execution on this. I personally don't like shrubs, and I think that you did a really good job making this come through and not be overpowering, but yet balanced. But I do want to know if you were going to serve this or pair this with a food item that is very Charlotte-esque, what would it be?
This would probably be a beginning of the night cocktail for me to sort of get my evening started. I'd probably have it alongside a nice cheese board.
What was the origin of the Shrub again?
The origin came from just wanting to sort of like own and pay homage to like what is Black and brown craftsmanship, especially because so many of those stories aren't told or lost in translation throughout history. Like
Where's it from?
it's not necessarily one specific entity that inspired this drink. It's more of like a generalized respect for like Black hospitality here in the South.
I get that. I'm actually trying to nudge you in a direction. I think you said it was from West Africa, right?
Yeah, West African inspired shrub.
So listen, fruit of our labor, slave trade, West Africa. You have a story there. So for feedback, if you do advance, tie all of that together. Like if you were to mention slavery, the slave trade in the South and all of that, and as it pertains to fruits of our labor, that kind of connects the entire story a little better. So just think about that as far as the ordering that shrub is concerned. And I'm not taking that away from you, just feedback to think about it, because you have an actually more cohesive story than you actually know.
I got you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Our final bartender is from New Orleans. Everyone say hello to Alana.
Hello, my name is Alana Peck. I am representing New Orleans, Louisiana. Today I'm going to be making my drink, my Lil Yeah, for you all. The name comes from kind of New Orleans slang. Lil Yeah is kind of known for meaning tons of things, but predominantly representing your significant other. And so I thought, what better name to name than to name a drink as far as giving you all a little piece of me. This is a shaken drink. I start with 1 ounce of a coconut sweet potato syrup, 3/4 ounce of a salted cilantro lime juice, 2 ounces of Maker's Mark, and shake. I'm going to strain this into my glass. Traditionally, I listed a rocks glass, but for summer drinks, I'm kind of feeling mason glasses right now, so that's what I have here. Top that off with some ice and a sprig of cilantro. And it is good to go.
Hi, Alana.
Hi, Alana.
Hey.
My name's Ryan. I work for Maker's Mark in Georgia and Tennessee. Tell us about yourself and really what inspired your drink here.
So what inspired this drink for me is, so I'm also a person of Jamaican descent, and I often lovingly refer to New Orleans as a little, slightly like an island in the South. Most ways out of New Orleans, you cross bodies of water, and many people from Caribbean islands come here and say that it still reminds them of that community island feel. So I kind of wanted to marry that island spirit with the bold flavors and the risk-taking of New Orleans food in general. So that's kind of where I got the coconut from, sweet potato being something classic to Southern foods in general, and continuing with that island and tropical feel, the cilantro, and then salting it to add an extra layer so that it wasn't just a sweet drink, but had a bit of a punch to it as well.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
we're about to taste it.
Cheers to you.
Cheers. Okay, I gotta say, the combination of the coconut, the sweet potatoes, and the cilantro, especially the salt. Oh my gosh, that was really smart. That was really smart. You played really well to the flavors of the Caribbean islands and the South in general, with that sweet potato. Because naturally people use sweet potatoes like sweet potatoes like sweet
Always
potato
savory
pie.
dish.
It's always
Yeah.
savory dish. This is actually very delicious. You brought the flavors well, and that cilantro is a nice little take on it.
Thank you.
And that is a risk-taking ingredient. Cilantro is a polarizing flavor, and I think you did a nice job with it.
Thank you so much. I tried to do it in a way where it wasn't overpowering because I know some people have an aversion to it, but I like it. So I definitely wanted to put it in there and kind of just see what happens. But I felt that as far as my palate and me loving cilantro, it wasn't, I didn't want to go overboard, but still keep that element in there.
Alana, my name's Harold, owner of the James Room.
This may be a difficult question for you,
Okay.
particularly because you're representing Louisiana. What food would you pair with this cocktail?
So a food that I would pair with this cocktail would be like a summer salad. I'm thinking more so a cold meal, like fruits in a salad type of thing. So like, not necessarily like, I wouldn't want a dish that has these ingredients in it. I would want a dish that would kind of add to the flavors that are in these in this particular beverage. So I think a summer salad, I really want to have that light, refreshing feel all the way through when it comes to this particular drink. So I'm not necessarily putting it as like a dinner item, but definitely something light, refreshing, like picnic, fun type of thing.
I think overall your cocktail fits the whole board. Not just something light, but it can also be with something a little heavier too.
Thank you. And I do think that it would go with more foods. I just think what I had in mind was more so just light types of foods, but I could absolutely drink this with some jambalaya for sure. Especially when you said that in particular, that stuck out for me.
So New Orleans has a huge Vietnamese population too. So you could certainly do pho with that or a banh mi. However you like that. I think that would be a really nice pairing with it. So great job.
Yeah, that's why I said it'd be a difficult question. There's so many options you have to pull from in New Orleans, just from their food culture. There's a lot of good foods and a lot of culture there as far as food is concerned. So, but we appreciate your answer.
Great job.
Thank you guys.
Look, y'all, I'm gonna be real with you. As a ATL native, nothing hits home more than some lemon pepper wet. Okay, like I get it, and y'all aren't trying to be biased about it, but just hearing the history about how she came up with it, seeing how even when it comes to like the culture, how lemon pepper is represented in Atlanta, it's the way she made the cocktail. It just makes more sense.
More importantly, she's not even from Atlanta.
That's right.
And that's paying like respect too.
Yeah. I mean, you were saying Miami, no tan lines, right?
Yeah.
With Miami, it's almost unfair in competitions how much they have to pull from culturally. And in the dead heat of summer, to name a cocktail, no tan lines, I think that's an instant attention grabber. If you see it on the menu, if you're a woman, and if the ingredients sound right, if you're a guy, you're gonna try that cocktail. So I think he really, really, really nailed it when it comes to marketability and branding standpoint. He got me with the no tan line.
I very much agree with you on that. I think that drink, again, speaking commercially, his precision in executing the drink, no more than 3 shakes, right? Because he can turn out a bunch of those.
Yeah, if you're at the pool, you got to crank those out.
Right, yeah.
When you think about ingredients, what threw me off the most was Charlotte, Everett, and that red onion.
I mean, that red onion was wild. I mean, I like red onions, but I never thought I'd like it in a cocktail. Sesame oil with Tracy or lemon pepper wet.
I think with Alana, I like the sweet potato.
Yeah,
the sweet potato really was
Sweet
good.
potato.
Some nice texture.
Yeah, it's just not something I would ever think to drink. One thing that he did do, and Jay, talking about Jay, he mentioned that the sage was for the aroma, right? Mm-hmm. But he also very specifically mentioned to place the straw right behind the sage, which is important because if you drink it from the wrong side of the glass, you might take it all in. But he specifically made sure you say, put the straw right next to the sage. So
very important.
Yeah, that was very important.
Yeah, good keynote.
Tracy Johnson, representing ATL, a local bar up the street, 12 Cocktail Lounge. I think she just did a very good job. She was spot on and on brand from presentation to the creation of the cocktail and just even her technical proficiency behind the bar. She was the only cocktail mixologist that actually tasted her cocktail before presenting to us as judges and in real time, a customer.
I think that's super important. Even though we weren't face to face, tasting your cocktail and adjusting it as needed is such an important thing that, even though we aren't there, it's still one of those things you got to do.
Yep. Because you want to make sure it's consistent.
Muscle memory.
It's got to be right. It's muscle memory.
Good.
That's exactly right.
And even her confidence, when she was making the cocktail.
Yes.
You can tell it's something that she does, and she takes time with it, and she's very persistent with it. Her precision's very good with it.
Yeah, I agree.
She did a really good job.
Very polished. Yeah. So Everett really loved the creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Really loved the historical tie back with ingredients, with story. But as far as stage presence, would like to see a little more energy.
Yeah.
It's a little dry.
A little dry.
Yeah.
A little dry.
So Jay, I think Jay has a good personality. You can tell that he's worked the industry for a while. Or I know you said he didn't work behind the bar for a long time, but he's been around it. Because his presence and how he talks to you and how he makes his cocktails is very spot on for like a nice mixologist.
I agree.
The cocktail in general, it to me was a very good cocktail, but to me it felt like a very common cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Like a cocktail I can get really in Miami, but like we talked about before, I could add different spirits to it.
Yeah.
And then change it up, but it would still be the same flavor.
Right.
Not saying it was bad, it's just that it didn't really wow me too much.
Yeah, the Maker's Mark didn't come through as a key ingredient, but Maker's didn't really come through. But awesome, like I don't think I've ever had a Maker's and tonic, so I thought that was really cool. We all said that we could drink multiple of them, right? So very enjoyable and
The sage, man.
commercially viable.
And I think, again, the fact that he was able to answer the call for making a whiskey cocktail
Yes.
in a market that isn't, whiskey isn't, it's not a whiskey forward market, right? I think the way he approached the cocktail was safe in the event that it was ever to be on a menu anywhere. And even from a taste standpoint, like even if the fact that it is made with whiskey, if you're not a whiskey drinker, you can down 2 or 3 of those and not even realize that you've been drinking whiskey. So maybe that was his intention, maybe not.
To whiskey type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
People trying to get into it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then we got Alana.
New Orleans.
That's right.
I loved Alana's story when she was talking about her cocktail and how she had the Caribbean roots and she's bringing it back to the South.
Yep.
And her cocktail really showcased with the coconut, sweet potatoes, the cilantro. Think about all those things. That is really bringing 2 worlds together. I mean, it tasted really good too.
Enjoyable cocktail. Use of cilantro, which is risky.
Risky.
And it really, I thought it was balanced.
Sure.
The cilantro was not super punchy in your face. I like cilantro. I didn't think, and I still get a little bit of the soapy thing, but it didn't come through at all. I thought it was nicely done and enjoyable, and something you can have multiple of.
Sure. I was actually impressed by the fact that she chose the summer salad as the food pairing. She did take the easy route by choosing something Cajun and something that we would think of. Obviously, that cocktail wasn't as it wouldn't pair as well with those things. But the fact that she thought about that, it shows that she knows what she's doing from a flavor profile standpoint. And choosing the summer salad was absolutely perfect.
But one thing that we talked about too that she was smart about doing too, especially using the sweet potatoes, was adding the salt.
Salt.
Because without the salt, the sweet potato would have kind of been lost. It would have been
agree.
worse because it brought the flavor more. So, like I said, she did a really good job.
Her cocktail was really quick too. There wasn't a whole lot of touches in making that cocktail. So, and I think it may be the one that maybe I drank the most of it.
No, we get back to it.
Yeah, but it was a good cocktail nonetheless.
So y'all, I like the selection, and I think the South really has something to say in this one.
Let's see.
That concludes our South Regional Round. Be sure to vote for your favorite bartender. The People's Choice vote closes at 7 p.m. Thanks again to our partner Maker's Mark and all of our community partners for the competition. Join us next Monday, August 23rd, as we host the Central Regional Round. We will see the best bartenders from Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, and Kansas City. Check out the Black Restaurant Week social media pages to see who won tonight's battle.